Class. Now I will look at the monopoly practice questions on this fine Saturday morning. A pure monopoly refers to a single firm that produces a product for which there are no close substitutes. This is a characteristic of monopoly market structure. Second one, which of the following is correct? A perfectly competitive firm is a price taker, while a monopoly is a price maker. That means monopolist, they can control the price of their product, and a perfectly competitive firm, they cannot really control the price of their product. They can only control how much they are selling. All right, moving on to question number 3. The demand curve faced by a pure monopolist is less elastic than faced by a purely competitive firm. Alrighty, so this is a perfectly competitive firm. The demand curve is perfectly elastic. And from the chapter on elasticity, we saw when the demand curve is perfectly elastic, the elasticity coefficient will be infinite. But for a monopoly market structure, the demand curve is downward sloping and definitely less elastic than a perfectly competitive farm. Okay. Okay, that means less elastic means this elasticity coefficient will be less than infinity, definitely. Now, moving on to question number 4, with respect to the pure monopolist demand curve, it can be said that price is greater than marginal revenue for all output levels greater than 1. So, price will be equal to marginal revenue when the output is equal to 1, but the price is greater than marginal revenue when the output is, this one's greater than 1, this one's equal to 1. This is what this question is asking. I'll strongly recommend to look at the explanations I have in the other video where I explained this concept of price and marginal revenue. Moving on to question number 5. Because the monopolist demand curve is downward sloping, price needs to go down to sell more output. If the price is $5, selling 5 units of output, again this numbers are just to set up random numbers that's coming to my mind right now. So this is how the answer should be. Price must be lowered to sell more output. That's the characteristic of a downward sloping demand curve. Going to question number 6 here. The pure monopolist demand curve is relatively elastic in the price range where marginal revenue is positive. For this concept, I'll also want you to look at the PowerPoint where I explain this concept. Question number 7. The diagram indicates the marginal revenue of the 6th unit of output. This is how much. Alrighty, so how do you find the marginal revenue here? Marginal revenue is change in total revenue over change in the output level. So the change in output level will be This one is changing from 5 to 6. 6 is the new output, 5 is the old output. This is what I have on the denominator. Now I need the total revenue when output is 6 and when output is 5. Output is 5, right? Alrighty, so this is output, this is price. I need the total revenue here. When output is 6, this is what happens here. The is for dollars. Total revenue is price times quantity. This is equal to 24. Now, when the price is $5, the quantity is 5, the total revenue is equal to 25. So 5 times 5, that's 25 here. Now to find out the change in total revenue, when output is 6, total revenue is 24. From that is subtract the output, the total revenue when output is 5. This is equal to 25. Doing the calculation here, I found out the marginal revenue is equal to -1. So question 7, this is the answer to my question. Question 8 is asking at the profit maximizing level of output, the farm will realize what? All right, so this is what I'm going to replicate here. This is a demand curve for a monopoly structure. Then this one is the marginal revenue curve. The next thing we need here is marginal cost curve. This is the marginal cost curve here. And the farm is going to produce output at the level where marginal revenue cuts the marginal cost curve. So this one from here, the output is equal to E. I'm going to find the output at the level where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. However, to find the price, I have to go all the way to the demand curve. So from here, the price is equal to A. Okay, the price is A, the output is equal to E. So this is another point which is J here. So I have a total revenue. That total revenue is equal to AJEO. I need something else here, and the missing piece of information in my graph is the average total cost. Sorry, my graph really sucks. This average total cost curve. All right, please bear with me here. This is my average total cost here. So from this graph, the average total cost is equal to B. Alrighty, so now I need to find the total cost here, which is equal to, what's the total cost? So I'm just going to write down here that total cost is equal to average total cost times quantity. So it will be, this point is H here, equal to BHEO. Now, because the average total cost is below the above the price, in this graph, the average total cost is lower than price. The monopolist will realize a profit, and the profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. So this part is the profit for a pure monopolist, which is look at the total revenue. From that, we take off total cost, and we are left with an economic profit which is equal to ABHJ. Okay, this is definitely a graphical question. All right, question number 9. Comparing pure monopoly and perfectly competitive farm with identical costs, we would find in the long run equilibrium that the pure monopolist definitely price and average total cost would be higher, output would be lower. So price for a pure monopolist is greater than price for a perfectly competitive farm. However, the quantity for a pure monopolist is lower than the quantity for a purely competitive farm. So basically, they're selling a lower quantity and charging a higher price. Moving on to question number 10 here. Refer to the graphs. Farm A is what and farm B is. Just remember, for a monopoly, if I am looking at a monopoly market structure, because we have one single seller, the farm is also the industry. What does it look like? This is a perfectly elastic demand curve. The demand curve is horizontal, and this one is very flat. This is a perfectly competitive farm. We can say this is the demand curve for a purely competitive farm. This is a downward sloping demand curve. The marginal revenue line is below the demand curve. This one is for a monopoly. Be careful with this question's horizontal demand curve is for a purely competitive farm. Moving on to question number 11. Monopolist engages in price discrimination. It will charge a higher price where individual demand is inelastic and lower price individual demand is elastic. One of the examples for question number 11 is if I'm looking at business travelers, these guys are more or less inelastic, their demand, so they're going to pay a higher price compared to people who travel for pleasure. So pleasure travelers, their demand is more or less elastic. They're going to pay a lower price compared to business travelers. Their demand is inelastic. That means even if price goes up, quantity will not go down by a lot. So they end up paying a higher price. Question number 12. Here we have an example of a price discriminating monopolist. That means they're charging different price different consumers. Notice here the marginal cost is equal to the average total cost, and this line is flat. So question number 12 is asking us, the left graph represents the demand and the right graph represents the weakened demand. This profit maximizing golf course should do what? So always look at the intersection of marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. So here the marginal to marginal cost when output is 200. I'm going to go all the way to the demand curve. The price will be equal to $7. So $7 is what they're charging on weekdays. WD is for weekdays. And look at the one for weekends. Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost when output is 100. I'm going to extend this all the way to the demand curve. Looks like price is equal to 10. So the answer to this question will be D, charging $7 for each round on weekdays and $10 for weekends. Key here, this is key number 1, MR equal to MC. Key number 2, you find the price always from the demand curve. Do not even think of finding the price from the marginal revenue curve. You are going to read the price always from the demand curve. Okay. I know question 12 was tricky. Question 13. Right now we are a pro at solving these problems. Monopolist is unregulated. It will maximize profit by charging always MR equal to MC. Charging what price, and read the price from the demand curve. Now this one, the demand curve, the price will be equal to P3 and the quantity will be equal to Q3. Answer to this question, question 13. Moving on to question number 14. Refer to the graph natural monopolist. Natural monopolist means average total cost keeps going down as output represented by Q increases. If the regulatory commission were to set a maximum price of P3, the monopolist is doing what? Okay, MR equal to MC here. Always MR equal to MC. Now I'm going to read the price from the demand curve. So going to read the price here. Let me change this marker. So the price is P3. Here the monopolist is maximizing profit because is charging a price equal to P3 on the basis of MR equal to MC. Now go to question number 15. Let's go to question 15 here. Okay, refer to the graph for a pure monopolist. Regulatory Commission seeks to achieve socially optimum allocation of resources, and what would it do? Okay, socially optimal allocation of resources. What will be the price here? So basically the price will be equal to marginal cost. Okay, and this will be equal to P2. So the price will be this point here, and the quantity is equal to P2. So here the monopolist is behaving like a perfectly competitive farm, and selling price is equal to marginal cost, and selling the maximum output, which is Q2. Okay. So just try to remember socially optimal means price equal to marginal cost and behaving like a perfectly competitive firm, because perfectly competitive firm follows social optimality and sells maximum output at the lowest possible price. Question number 16. Discriminating monopolist will definitely they will produce and sell a larger output than a non-price discriminating monopolist. All right, question 17. Here we talk about fair return price. This one means price is set equal to average total cost of production. Please remember fair return price and differentiate this from socially optimal price. So, which point the price is equal to average total cost? This one, the price is set equal to average total cost and output is gonna be equal to, trying to draw a straight line here. My hand is shaky today. So the price is equal to average total cost, and this one is gonna be equal to P1. The output is gonna be equal to Q1. Okay, so just to let you know something, when price is equal to P average total cost, the profit will be equal to 0. And I really want to go up a little bit here. When the price is equal to P2, this P2 is less than average total cost. So over here, profit is gonna be negative. So the profit is negative for social optimal allocation of resources, and profit is 0 for a fair return price. Moving on to question number 18. The same thing we did before, MR equal to MC. Quantity is going to be Q1, C, and price is equal to P1. This is children, and for adults, quantity is going to be Q2, price, you extend it all the way till it hits the demand curve. Price is equal to P2. So question 18, this is the answer. So this is an example of price discriminating monopolist who is charging different prices to children and adults. All right, question number 19. In graph B, the profit as quantity is how much and what's the profit maximizing price? Two things, MR equal to MC. This is what I do here. Number two is I'm going to read the price from the demand curve. So my price will be equal to all the way here. Price reading up from the demand curve is going to be D. So the quantity is G and profit maximizing price, which we just read off from the demand curve, is equal to D. Question number 20. Okay, this is definitely for a monopoly. This what? This one is a perfectly competitive industry, not a firm. Industry demand curve downward sloping and farm's demand curve is horizontal. So this one is question number 20. The answer is gonna be diagram A represents the equilibrium price and quantity in a perfectly competitive industry. Another way to know this is because the supply curve is the marginal cost curve for a perfectly competitive industry. Now go to question number 21. This one is as easy as possible. Monopoly output amount to MC is F. Monopoly price. We found the monopoly output is equal to F. This is really easy to understand because we do not have too many things going on in this graph. Price from the demand curve, which I just read off. This is question number 22 here. The price is equal to C. Question number 23. In the accompanying graph, demand is relatively elastic at what point? So this, if I look at this as a midpoint demand curve, look at this answer choices, P2, P2, P1, 0 to P1, only at P1. So the top part of the demand curve relatively elastic. The point almost in the middle, this is gonna be unit elastic. The bottom part is inelastic. So your answer will be in the P2 to P4 price range. Demand is relatively elastic. Okay, question number 24 is tricky. Price goes down from P1 to P2. Total revenue does what? So when price is P1, quantity is Q1, the total revenue is gonna be equal to A plus B. This part is the total revenue when price is P1, quantity is Q1. Now when the price is equal to P2, quantity is gonna be Q2, and the total revenue will be equal to B plus C. So the price is going down from P1 to P2 here. So what happens to my total revenue? When the price goes down, my quantity goes up. Definitely my total revenue is gonna. So when price is down, quantity is up. Total revenue, this one will go up. Say this is going to increase. This is going to increase by B plus C. From that I subtract From that I'm going to subtract A plus B. So this one is B plus C minus A minus B. So I can cancel these B's out. My answer is C minus A. Okay. Now the last one, the marginal revenue from selling the fourth unit of output. So the marginal revenue from selling the fourth unit of output is equal to the total revenue from the fourth unit of output. From that I subtract the total revenue from the third unit of output over change in quantity. So 4 minus 3. So the total revenue here is 16. Total revenue here is 15. This will be 16 minus 15 over 4 minus 3. So this is equal to $1. Okay, this is all the questions so far on monopoly market structure. Hope you find this easy, and now I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. Thank you very much. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe.